trouble brewing in Indiana for the Donald Trump campaign team? That is what The Hill is suggesting. They write that a new poll finds that Ted Cruz, has a double-digit lead in Indiana. I find that to be extraordinary. I mean, this is bull crap, total bull crap, because when you look at some of the leading polls prior to Ted Cruz announcing Carly Fiorina as his running mate, all of the polls show that Trump leads. It was with, granted a narrow gap, but nevertheless, he was leading in all these major polls. Now they're saying that Ted Cruz has not only taken the lead from Donald Trump, but is leading with double-digit percentages. How can that be? I mean, what happened, in the time when the majority of these polls were conducted? What happened? What was the major catalyst? Well, obviously the major catalyst, there was two. Obviously one of them is bigger than the other. The first catalyst, the major catalyst, is when Ted Cruz announced Carly Fiorina as his vice presidential running mate. The second piece of news is when Indiana Governor Mike Pence endorsed very weakly, a weak endorsement of Ted Cruz. He spent actually more of his time endorsing Donald Trump, but then at the end said, well, I guess I endorse Ted Cruz. That's what that's basically what his endorsement amounted to. So those are the two catalysts for Ted Cruz. I find it extraordinary that the Indiana voters would suddenly take those two news items and convert that to a double-digit percentage lead against the frontrunner, Donald Trump. I find that to be absolutely extraordinary. I mean, Donald Trump just swept 5 states leading up to this Indiana race. He swept 5 states with majority victories in a 3-man race. A 3-man race. That is absolutely extraordinary. If that was a 2-man race, that would be like the equivalent of Donald Trump leading by 75-80%. This is stunning. And with all that momentum coming in, and with the endorsement of Bobby freaking Knight. Are you kidding me? Bobby Knight in Indiana? Let me tell you, Bobby Knight is Indiana. He has far more credibility in the eyes of regular people in Indiana than does Governor Pence. I mean, everybody knows the name Bobby Knight. Everybody adores Bobby Knight. So when Bobby Knight endorsed Donald Trump right after the announcement of Carly Fiorina for Ted Cruz, look, I mean, the attention, the media attention on traditional media outlets and also on the internet, I mean, it was sky high for Donald Trump. Donald Trump has always dominated the media. And just for that one little blip, I think for like literally a few minutes, Ted Cruz was able to trump Trump in the media space when he announced Carly Fiorina as his vice presidential running mate. But other than for those precious few minutes, Donald Trump has completely dominated the media when it comes to exposure of these two candidates. So I find this latest poll reported by The Hill to be extraordinarily suspicious. You also have to consider this. When Ted Cruz was going back to that announcement of Carly Fiorina, in that announcement, there were only about 140, 150 people, including the camera folks and the reporters and the Cruz team. I would estimate 140, 150 people in that room in which he made the announcement. I made a rough count. I mean, in the audience, there's about 70 or 80 people. On the podium, on those stands, there was about 25 people to his left, 25 people to his right. I mean, it wasn't that many people. You have this close-up shot where it looks like he's speaking to a huge crowd of people. But then when the camera pans out, it becomes pretty obvious that the support has significantly waned for Ted Cruz. There's just nobody there. So how does that convert to double-digit percentage points in a poll? I mean, I gotta tell you that the mainstream media itself is also getting extremely desperate, and they're trying to throw this disinformation campaign, trying to discourage people from voting for Trump and trying to give unnecessary hope to the Ted Cruz supporters. Because the realities, the reality of what is occurring on the street, the real-time momentum does not match this poll in any way whatsoever. Plus, the poll doesn't match the findings from other polls that were recently conducted. And this catalyst is not enough, because this minor Carly Fiorina catalyst, that was trumped literally by Donald Trump and by Bobby Knight. Bobby freaking Knight, everybody. Bobby Knight is Indiana. There is just no way that this poll is accurate. This is, again, another disinformation campaign run by the mainstream corrupt media.